Be strong.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the True Blues podcast. Your boy Johnny Drews here, Kieran here. After a fantastic performance from the CHELS, away, not in Porto, in Seville. To be honest, Kieran, it wasn't our best performance, but it's still a fantastic performance. What do you think?
Yeah, mate. I was just speaking to our good friend Sam Hickson not that long ago, actually, and we were both saying, first 20 minutes, I was shitting myself. I was like, "Oh God, here we go. We're about to get battered. We're definitely going out." I was like, I thought this week couldn't get any worse. I was about to have an early night and just sack everything off and just get up for work in the morning. But man, what a result! We just pulled it out at the times we needed it. We had just sparks of brilliance in there. At times, definitely. Even after the first goal, I was like, "Oh God, they're going to score now."
Yeah, I did
as well. It was the away goals. It's the away goals, mate. The two away goals is absolutely brilliant. The first goal, oh man! But overall, there were some brilliant performances from players like Rhys James. We'll get into it a little bit later. But I thought Rhys James was outstanding today. And just in general, mate. We pulled it out. That is the gritty results we were getting a few weeks ago. Not the shite we had at the weekend. Yeah. That was the gritty results that we pull out. We get teams all over us. We grab a goal when we need to. So I'm very happy. I assume you are too.
Yeah, mate, absolutely buzzing. I was at work, so I was watching whilst I technically should have been doing work. Not that there was much to do, but it was a bit tricky at times. But yeah, from what I saw, it's just solid. I was a little bit scared when we didn't have the ball. I don't know, Porto, I just think they looked good, to be fair. They missed something, I'm not sure what, but they were just missing something. But with the ball, I thought we were superb tonight. And I think we did player ratings last time. We're going to stick with that this time. So we'll start with the goalkeeper, Eduard Mendy. How do you rate his performance, Kieran?
I'll give him an 8. I reckon
yeah,
he was
exactly
quality.
What I was thinking.
He was brilliant. I thought he pulled out some big saves. His reactions were incredible. You could see he was leading the team from the back. He really was just commanding back there, which is like, we've seen him pull out some fantastic performances since we signed him, but that was the most commanding I've seen him. I think aside from Asp, we really liked the leader, especially the weekend with Tiago Silva going off. And I thought he just pulled it out. He was like commanding, shouting out for everything coming into the box, making sure to claim balls, not having like Rudiger or Christensen take too many touches in the box. He was happy to have the ball back to him, made some absolutely fantastic saves. Corona, Diaz and Marega all could have probably had about 2 each. And I think a few of them were saved just purely based on Mendy's ability today. And I thought he was brilliant. I think 8 is a perfect way to summarise him. I don't know about you, mate.
Yeah, for me, I don't think he made one save where I was like, oh my God, that was world class. But he made a lot of solid saves, dealt with them very professionally. Didn't put the team in any danger. He took them around the post, out for a corner or whatnot, rather than danger zone. And like I said, the main thing about was being commanding. There was a couple of crosses sort of later in the second half where he's just come out and plucked it, where I know for a fact Kepa wouldn't, and I don't think other keepers in general wouldn't have come for it. So he just looks in control, doesn't he? So he definitely gets an 8 for me. And it's just that I think that performance today sums up his season for us so far. He's just got on with his job, done what he needs to do, and set a really good example. Next, we'll go into the big boy, Rhys James, who I got to give a 9. I thought he was superb today. Didn't make a mistake. He was just in beast mode today, wasn't he? Just animal.
Mate, all I'm going to say, it's the opposite of what I said to you yesterday. Trent could never. So just for context, I texted John last night after Trent had that absolute blunder to like Vinicius 3, and I was like, Rhys James could never let it happen. And the boy must have been reading the text we had, mate, because he was out of this world today. He was up and down. He was our most threatening player. Like the first 60 minutes of the game, if something was happening, Rhys James was involved for the most part. The only time he wasn't involved, funnily enough, was the goal. Like, it was down to Jorginho Mount, but he was putting crosses in, he was getting back, putting tackles in. That DS out on the left had a torrid time of it at times. Like, he was just trying to get round him every which way he could. And James, like, that's the best defensive performance I've seen him put in a very long time. I don't know about you, but like, defensively solid. He's always fantastic going forward and putting the ball in the box. And he's a great crosser of the ball. He always has been. Obviously, we didn't have the ideal target man in there in Ollie until late on, but I thought Rhys was I thought he was brilliant. I'd be the same as you, 9. I'd even hazard a 9.5. I thought he was almost flawless today. He seemed a bit gassed at the end, but he come off and you couldn't really have asked more from the boy, really.
Absolutely not, mate. No, the only thing I think we did miss was getting him in the game a little bit more down the wing. There was a lot of options to get him in, and we just lacked that killer final pass. But from his actual performance, he was superb, really. Or maybe he could have done with Giroud on today, just to have someone to hit his crosses at. We'll get on to Kai a bit later, but he didn't quite have the same presence as Giroud usually does. But yeah, he was superb. We'll go to my other player. I'll probably actually give my sort of man of the match to him is Ben Chilwell. You know, that goal at the end, he was solid as well all night. And then that goal at the end was superb. Superb. It's just for a fullback to have that composure, to take a touch in front of the centre half, so the centre half can't touch him, otherwise it's Stonewall pen and he's probably off. And then just to dink it round the keeper and then tap it in. That's brilliant composure. I know a lot of fullbacks probably would have tried to finish that rather than go around the keeper. So fair play, Mr. Ben Chilwell. I'm going to give him a 9.5. I was going to give him a 9, but he's got to have a 9.5, I think. I don't know. It might even be a 10, because a goal and a clean sheet for a fullback. I don't know what more you want.
No, there's not really more you can ask in the boy. Yeah, you're right. The goal, you're spot on with what you've said about it. Like, most defenders get in that position and like, fuck, especially like a fullback. Like, he's typically quite one-footed, so I was thinking, oh god, don't pull it into the left and just spoon it over the bar. Don't do this to me. Pulisic has just hit the bar. Yeah. I've just jumped up in rage, just gone, oh shit, he's missed. Like, I couldn't believe he missed it. And then from the resulting goalkeeper distribution, he comes in, just plucks it away, and you said the composure was out of this world, man. Like, there've been sometimes some of our attackers could have done with composure like that. It's shades of Torres again at Barca for me.
Yeah.
He just glides around him, looks around, quick little just tap in and peels away. I thought he was brilliant defensively down that wing. I think him and Rhys did very well overall, the pair of them, spreading the game out. I think that's what helped us counteract the press at times. Obviously, it gave us a bit of trouble. And I think they were the main components of us being able to play against that press, was the width they had. It was mentioned early on the BT commentary that they were literally hugging the touchlines out wide, down either side and further up the pitch to spread them out. Because the more they pressed the ball, like, it wasn't just a press. It was when the ball come over to like Chile or Rhys James, it was the whole of the Porto midfield would just crowd that ball. And they found ways to get out and find Kovacic and Jorginho to play the ball around. I have to agree with you, Matt. I think he was the man of the match. Yeah, I'd say 9.5 as well. Probably, for me, I'd even said 10. I thought he was perfect today. He didn't put a foot wrong. Took that goal. Like, I can't even say enough about it. I've never seen that kind of composure from a fullback going forward. Like I just couldn't comprehend how absolutely mental it was when that went in. Like, I was still raging about hitting the crossbar, and then straight away he comes in. So yeah, 9.5. Nothing wrong with it.
It's a huge goal in the context of the tie. Yeah, fair play, Mr. Ben Chilwell. Solid performance. We'll go with Dave. I thought Dave was probably my pick out of the back three tonight, like as the centre back. So I'm going to give him an 8. There was a bit of defending he did in the first half, which was truly excellent, where he just got in between the striker and the goal. Didn't tackle him, just used his strength. And it was a goal-saving sort of like bit of defending. Other than that, he was just solid all game, sort of marshalling the defence, and sort of worked really well with Rhys. So I'll give him an 8.
Yeah, I'm going to be a bit more generous here. I'm going to say an 8.5. I'm with you. The back three, I think, aside from the two wing backs, I think Dave was the best player on the pitch for us, aside from those two. He was just brilliant. Like, again, he's not got all the pace in the world. He hasn't got the size for a traditional centre half. Obviously, I know he's playing in the back three, so it's a bit different. He can be a bit of a different kind of player. But I just thought the way he dealt with that Marega up front, who was an absolute animal, man. I add. He's a huge player up there, huge presence. And you'd think they would have stuck Rudiger on him, shadowing him for most of the game. But no, Dave, particularly for the first half, shadowed him. And I think his performance was just amplified when you've got a man that size in Dave handling a huge striker like that, and your man's diving all around over the floor. Any bit of contact, he's hitting the deck, thinking Dave's not clever enough to keep his distance. But that just epitomizes how he's one of the most versatile and smart defenders in the world.
Yeah, definitely.
Where he just he could see him playing for contact and he'd just leave him alone. He'd put a hand on him and then go, no, So I thought he led from the back really well. I think he kept that back five very organised today. I think after the weekend, he was not having any of it. None of that disorganised, lack of communication between the back five and the midfield. He kept everything back. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. And there's nothing really I can say wrong with him other than a couple of challenges that were a bit hit and miss. But everybody has those, and we come out of a clean sheet, so really it amplifies all of the ratings for all of the defenders. Really, clean sheet in a huge tie.
Yeah, and probably with Christensen and Rudiger, I'm probably going to be a bit more not harsh or critical, but I don't think they were as good as those ones we've mentioned so far. So I'm going to give Rudiger and Christensen actually both a 7. I thought Christensen might have missed a couple of opportunities to get the ball out wide a bit quicker, like we mentioned earlier to Rhys in the first half. I also think Rudiger got caught, didn't make any mistakes, but in the first half they tried to press us, and you could see him trying to play out from the back in the corner, and just he just needs to lump it long. But other than that, I thought he was solid, and he's just a much better player than Zuma. No disrespect to Zuma, but you can tell he's got more experience about him and has played at a higher standard, really, can't you?
Yeah, definitely, mate. Obviously, we had a very scathing report on Zuma after the weekend. We weren't very impressed. I think there's only one man who really, who after only one game, since we would not say his name, and I personally referred to him as Judas. Obviously, we get onto it a little bit more, but I think we got to take that one back. But yeah, Rudiger, he was pretty solid. He didn't really have much to do. He seemed a bit lost at times, which I think helped with Mendy and Dave being so commanding and so captivating to that whole defence. I think they really hid the blemishes of what could have been horrific for Christensen and Rudiger today. I think had they not had that leadership and that influence, then maybe we could have conceded. We wouldn't have been as organised. But yeah, I'd say for me, Rudiger probably 6 or a 7. I'm not really. He didn't really do anything, did he?
No,
we kept the clean sheet. So I'll be a lot.
He was never in any trouble, though, was he? To be fair to him, other than playing out from the back defensively, he was never in any trouble.
No, I know. I think it was a lot of the same thing we said early on about what happened with Zuma, with Tiago Silva. When you've got someone that good next to you, which he had 3 great people with it. So yeah, I'd say 7. He was pretty solid when he needed to. Didn't ever feel like we were ever gonna have to rely on him to do anything. So it's just average, good shift. Keep Zuma out of the team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the defence just looked far better without Marcus Alonso and Zuma defensively, didn't it, really? It also helps that the 2 boys in front of them, Kovacic and Jorginho, completely different players today. It was like Jorginho's twin brother came back, isn't it, really?
Yeah, definitely, mate, definitely. That pass through to Mace for the goal, just the perfect weight on it. And I was like, Jesus Christ, he had about 27 opportunities to do that against West Brom defenders, not Pepe and your man Mbemba or whatever his name is, the back. Like two significantly better defenders than what West Brom had, and I just thought it was perfectly weighted. He did a job. I thought early on, I don't know about you, like how much you were watching it early on, where he misplaced his first pass that he had out that was longer than about 2 yards. He tried to play one dead into Timo's feet. I just put my hand on my head like this, and I went, "Oh Jesus Christ, here we go again!" It started again. I was having like flashbacks to the weekend. I started shaking. I was like, "Oh God, it's going to be 6-0 this time. We're not even going to score 2. They're going to score more." But he was good. Jorginho impressed me. I apologise for calling him Judas for now. You know, what was it that you said to me? A leopard can't change his spot, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. Cover, I thought he was good. I've quite an interesting point that I thought today, based on like his work rate, and like he got back a lot more. I thought today. I thought he took on the role of the defensive midfielder a little bit better today, and he sort of stood out in a category for once, which makes a really big difference for him. I was saying to Hickson that I could see him doing a bit of a job. I don't know about it. This might be mental to say, but I could see him doing a bit of a job at right wing back. Like we don't really have a true engine there. We've got Cal, who will just play like a winger, and like Rhys James most of the time will come off at some point in the game. So I could see him doing a shift there. If we've got Kante and Jorginho playing 90 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know if he's quite got the pace.
See him doing a shift there. Like he showed today, like if he puts a shift in defensively, he can do a bit. He just broke the game up quite a lot, and he created like a good amount of his dribbling, obviously being his main strong point, really helped like break down the press. Like he could come short and take the ball around. It's like he didn't really have to do much because we were just booting it up there. Especially when Giroud come on, we were just like, anytime they were 5 yards near us, they come up with. But I thought he was good. Overall, I think the two boys, 7.5 for the two boys in the middle.
I'd probably say so. I'd probably say it was kind of like, I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but it's sort of like they contrasted against each other. Like first half, I thought Jorginho was better, and Kovacic sort of took a back seat. And second half, I thought Kovacic was far better, and Jorginho just sort of did his bit. And I think he pretty much got a spot on there. Right.
Yeah.
Now who have we got? We've got Timo, Havertz, and Mason. So Mason's next midfield, technically a midfielder, so we'll go for him next. I thought it was good first half, and then he got a little bit lost second half, to be honest. I think he struggled to get in the game a bit, but I'd say a solid 7.5. If we're giving the other two midfielders 7.5, I'll give Mason a 7.5. Lovely turn for the goal. Whew, lovely. And the finish was a bit lucky, but we take it.
Yeah, he got away with it a little bit on the finish. He was quite far out wide, and when he hit it, I went, "I don't know here. This might not be it." But yeah, the turn was just absolutely sublime. It really was. The way he just he kept it so compact too. He never it wasn't like a wild turn. He was like stretching out, chase the ball. Like it was all within a stride, and it was a beautiful goal. I'll be a bit more generous on that goal, and I think his work rate with the front three in that first half was of what we're used to seeing at Mason, like when we're not at the game. So it just proves like he'll press up there and he'll put himself in good positions, and he won't stick to the position he's been set out in. He will happily free roam. He'll play on the left, he'll play on the right, he'll play behind. Like Timo, if he's playing like as just a typical number 9, he'll go up down the middle and get him behind himself. I thought, like you said, he was really good in the first half, dropped off in the second half, but I think we weren't looking that much to get in the box after that first goal. I think we were just looking to hold it together, keep it solid, same as the Atletico game, where another brilliant goal was scored. I think it was just trying to hold it together. And I think Mace just drifted out of the game at that point, and obviously ended up getting brought off. I think he took his goal well, but he just drifted off. So I'd probably give him an 8 just based on the goal. In the first half hour, I thought he was class, and then just got a bit lazy and a bit tired, but still won, so it doesn't make a difference.
Exactly, mate. And then the next two, Timo and Kai, I'm going to be a little bit harsh and give them both the same rating. I'm going to give them 5s. I thought they both worked really hard, bless them. They just struggled to get in the game, really, which was a bit of a shame, really. I thought Timo, it might be his sort of not his chance to do something, because I do really rate him. I think if he continues to work hard like he does, he will get the opportunities. Like Gary Lineker said before, I don't know if you're watching the pre-match build-up, Gary said that as a striker, he was worried not if he was missing chances, if he wasn't getting chances. He's getting some chances, Timo. I know he didn't tonight. There's one where I think he was offside and he squared it to Havertz in the second half, and Havertz missed. But yeah, I think Havertz, struggled to sort of link the play up. We did need Giroud for me tonight. We'll talk about him a bit later. But yeah, both fives for me. What about you?
Yeah, I'd give Timo a 6 and Havertz a 5. I think Timo impacted the game a little bit more. I think his runs help create space for players like Jorginho to sort of take a few extra touches and weigh the game up a little bit more. And I thought he was all right. Obviously, without the shot from Rudiger that was deflected, and it just epitomises really what Timo Werner is for us. He is the most unselfish player on our team, really, like in front of goal. Like whether it's a confidence issue or whether it's just like that's how he wants to play. Like he's got 11, 12 assists already this season in all competitions.
That's not
immediately
counting
he squares towards Kai Havertz. I know. Yeah, exactly, mate. And the start of the season, he won like 6 penalties in the first 2 months of the year. And I think that was really just an epitome of like he is a team player and he does a bit more for the team. Havertz didn't really do anything. I wasn't. Obviously, you put out the lineup prediction of we're fuming when you're only one off, and Havertz was that player.
Yeah.
He just didn't really do anything. I know it was offside. Timo was in an offside position when he did square it, but like missing that opportunity. I know Pepe's bearing him behind him and the other centre-back sliding across the goal, but you've got to do better from there, regardless. If it's
got to be
offside,
anticipating it, haven't you? If you're going to be in that number false 9/10 position, you've got to be anticipating that even if Timo doesn't square it, it hits the keeper and there's a tap in for him there. He's got to be gambling.
Yeah, exactly. I think he just wasn't committed enough to it. I think he was just a bit lazy today. He didn't really make any runs. There's not really much to say to him.
He looks a bit confused, I think. Lazy might be a bit harsh. He looked confused, I think. He didn't really know what his role was.
Yeah, he didn't really come to the ball as much as he has been.
Exactly.
From the way I looked at the game, he's a player who, when we signed him, there was so many highlights of him just picking the ball up fairly deep and going at players and like 1-2 touches, passes here and there, and then slipping it in behind for people, getting in behind himself. He just didn't really have that today, and I just thought he stayed on a bit too long for me.
Yeah,
I think he could have done one coming off a little bit earlier. We could have done with a spark. We still won the game. So like with everybody, it doesn't really matter if they didn't perform maybe as we would have hoped, because we had outstanding, like I would say, probably aside from Mbappe against Bayern tonight and Vinicius last night, I think we had the two best performers of the round so far in our two wing backs. We had a great performance defensively. So going forward, really, we didn't require much. Mason got one early, and then Ben Chilwell got one late on our fullback. So it was a very defensive. It was a cagey game. They were bringing game to us. So Havertz not doing much, doesn't do for me. But yeah, I'd say a 5. I think anything less than a 5 in this kind of performance would be very harsh. But he definitely was the most invisible on the pitch for sure.
Yeah, I'd say so too. So next on to substitutes. I did have to come home, so I missed 5 minutes. So I think I missed Tiago Silva come on for Rhys James, was that one?
Yeah.
Then we had Pulisic and Giroud came on, Kante and Emerson. So we can't recount Emerson, bless him. He played all of about 30 seconds. Tiago Silva, can you give him a rating, or did he not play long enough? He played about 10 minutes, didn't he?
Yeah, he didn't really play long enough for me. Yeah. If anything, it'd be like a 5 or a 6. He just solidified what we'd already had going for us, with Dave moving out wide to wing back, which I thought was quite interesting to see. Him going out there.
Doesn't quite have it really showed his lack of pace now. It shows he's definitely lost a bit of pace tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Especially going from Rhys James, who's like it goes under the radar. I think a little bit like how rapid Rhys James is, like up and down the wing, and it just was. It was something where I thought, okay, like bring him on. He's obviously had a bit of a stinker in getting sent off at the weekend, and I think it was just sort of a pity substitute, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like he just brought him on. He was like,
kill a bit of time as well.
Poor boy only played half an hour, and he's not playing He's not playing at the weekend. So
no, that's very good.
Yeah. Then Kante come on again. He come on a bit too late to do much of anything. First pass he had, he just kicked it straight off the pitch.
He did make a good run though. But then, it got to the edge of the box like he does, bless him, and he doesn't want to shoot. He wants to give it to someone else.
Yeah, him and Timo Werner, like a counter attack for them two. They'd just be staring at each other, thinking, I'm going to pass it back to you," and they'd just be stood there doing 1-2s all day. Yeah, he didn't really he made a nice run. And he just did what he does. He just runs around. I think that energy in midfield was needed for that last 10 minutes because we were swamped. Like I think players were just drained. Not from the amount of running they had to do, but just purely from like being engaged and pressed every second of the game. Like full credit to Porto. They were ridiculous. Like their tenacity today was a joke. I've never seen a team press like that. I think there's not really anything to say. The next
Giroud and Pulisic made they're a bit the same. They at that point in the game, it was a bit, I don't want to use the word tense, but not a lot happened, did there? There wasn't like a lot of chances or anything when they came on. I think Pulisic made a fabulous run. He looked fresh, to be fair, when he came on, considering he seemed to get a tight hamstring just running onto the pitch on the weekend. I was quite surprised to see him come on, to be honest. But he looked all right, so give him a 6, to be fair. And I think Giroud, he just showed why we needed him when he came on. He was big, strong, holding the ball up. Especially against someone like Pepe, who's a really experienced defender. You want someone like Giroud who knows what he's doing for me. I'll give Giroud a 6.5, I think. I think he looks solid. I just hope we play him more, to be honest, mate. I'm a bit scared we'll lose him in the summer. I would almost, to a certain extent, I think obviously Aguero, don't get me wrong, brilliant striker, been better than Giroud, absolutely. But I'd rather have Giroud next season than Aguero. I think Aguero's, obviously, he's got a problem with his knee, and I think Giroud just gives you something different, mate. If you have Aguero, he kind of just gives you, I don't know, Giroud's a plan B, mate. Giroud's a plan B.
Kind of gives you 200 goals in 10 years. I'm not going to have to disagree with you there, mate. I personally think outside of Thierry Henry, Sergio Aguero is the best striker that's ever played in the Premier League. Outside of Thierry, and I hate Thierry, and you know how much I hate Thierry Henry. For plenty of reasons, fucking cheating bastard. But I think obviously the rumors about Aguero coming in. But I do agree with you. I do want to keep Giroud. He just adds a different dynamic.
That's what I mean.
Because if we keep Tammy Abraham, all we're going to do is heap more expectation on him to play like Giroud, and he can't even play like my little brother, who's probably played football about 3 times in his entire life. Like it's just it won't be good because we need that extra dynamic. We need that for teams. Like he probably would have been better off playing at the weekend.
100%,
like
100%.
A physical team who are just going to throw their defenders at our strikers. A player like Giroud will take a knock, get in there and be right in the mix of it, like taking all the knocks, taking the hits, going up for the headers and stuff, winning the scrappy balls, chasing after it. Like that would have been what we sort of needed at the weekend. I don't really mention it much at the weekend. I don't remember if you did or not about Giroud. Like he could have just done something, but I thought he was good. I would say probably a 6. I wouldn't necessarily say 6.5. Obviously, he had a bit of a contribution in there late on, but he just put in a shift when he come on. He did what we needed him to do, as you said. And like they said against Pepe, very experienced defender, the second oldest player that they said in there. That's probably a good stat of the match. Is Pepe's the second oldest outfield player to play in the Champions League knockout stages since Ryan Giggs, who played till he was about 65. So fair play to him. He's been. No, we don't like him either.
Poor Rodri Giggs.
Yeah, poor man. We don't promote that sort of thing on the True Blues podcast anyway, do we, Sam Hickson?
No.
So
Yeah, I think that brings us on nicely, Dave, talking about Giroud, to our game at the weekend against Palace, because I think he has to be a shoo-in to start, because we all know what Palace are going to do. Defensively solid. We need someone like Giroud who can hold the ball up, someone who Jorginho can play passes into feet to. It's a big game now. It is a big game. Like, we missed an opportunity at the weekend. Leicester dropped points. Someone else, quite a few teams dropped points, didn't they? I'm trying to think. Spurs dropped points.
United? Did United drop points at the weekend?
No, they beat Brighton just scraped over the line like they do. We would have been 2 points behind Leicester. Would have obviously would have given ourselves a bigger gap ahead of Liverpool and Spurs, which is a shame. So I think this is a big, if we can win comfortably as well, this is a big sort of sign to the teams around us. Like, look, that was just a blip. We're here for the running, really.
Yeah, I think it really spoke volumes. Obviously, there were some changes that were necessary, but the 5 changes today, I think that spoke volumes to Tuchel's just attitude. It's right. You lot were crap at the weekend, so half of you aren't playing. You can sit on the bench. Like, don't get me wrong, Tiago Silva was at fault. Obviously, rash challenges, whatever. But Tuchel quite easily could have given him 90 minutes. Like tonight, I think it was a good idea. I think that's been our consistent back three. I think that might have been the problem of the weekend. That was the consistent back three. I think Rudiger's put in some really good performances here and there. Christensen's obviously been one of our best players since his rejuvenation into the side. I think it's a big weekend for our fullbacks, for Rhys James or Ben Chilwell, whichever one gets to come up against Wilfried Zaha, being the talisman of Crystal Palace. It's a really big weekend to show what they can do defensively, work rate rise, and if he does play down the middle, I think this is Rudiger's time to really cement himself back into the position we had him in a few weeks ago, where he was all over Luis Suarez, being an absolute shithouse, just going at him. If he does that, if Zaha's down the middle, then I think we stand in good stead to keep another clean sheet. And it's just goals, really. We need goals. But Mason's got 2 and 2. That's looking good. First goal in the Champions League. But yeah, like you said, it's huge. It's huge. At this point in the game, with 8 games left, we need to really kick on and win pretty much every game we've got left.
Yeah, definitely.
That top 4 race the last few years is just so tight, with so many teams in and around. Obviously, there are teams who should think they should be higher, but aren't, because they can't keep a lead and they bottle it against crap teams. Tottenham.
We hate Tottenham.
Well, I mean, they are a crap team themselves, so I don't even know why I'm categorising them as they should be beating crap teams. They are a crap team, so. But yeah, it's huge. It's huge. We need a bounce back in the league. We can't only play good on Wednesday nights, because we can't stand on the merits of the way we did in 2012 when we did win the Champions League. That's the only way we're getting in. So I think this is a lot tougher pool of teams now we could potentially come up against after today. So we've really got to push on the league and get results like this. And I think we need to stop with the chopping and changing. We need to stick with what works. And if Tiago Silva doesn't fit into that yet, if he's not that adjusted to our system, obviously he won't play at the weekend. But if he's not that adjusted, we need to keep that back three. They work together. They do a job. Dave and Christensen play the ball about a bit, and Rudiger's the enforcer, the shithouse at the back, somebody to just pester the best forward they've got. And we need to really, looking forward to that game. I don't really see a great playmaker for them. Matthias Pereira, he's all right. He had a great game against us, but we need to neutralise players like that sit in that gap between our back three and our midfield.
They got Palace have Eze, don't they? Who's been quite a good signing, hasn't he, for Palace, to be fair?
Yeah, I think that's a job for N'Golo. Obviously, I don't really know about his fitness. He played 10 minutes today. He's just come back from a hamstring.
I feel like they might save him for Tuesday now. We got that 2-goal lead. We don't really have to do anything to I think they might just save him. And we're going to have a lot of the ball against Palace. So I think they want Jorginho anyway to sort of dictate that sort of game. So I personally think they might rest him. It's just going to be interesting to see how many changes they make. Obviously, we've got Porto on Tuesday, Man City in the FA Cup on Saturday. So 2 big games. Are they going to make changes? Like, obviously, we want our full team out. Basically, ideally, we kind of want the same team out as we put out today. Maybe a couple of changes up at the top of the pitch. But so, does Marcos Alonso come back in? Does he rest Christensen for Tiago Silva? I'm not sure. I think we got to keep the defence the same. I wouldn't mind seeing. I think we could potentially get away with playing Marcos Alonso in Chilwell's spot, and I think we could probably, get away with playing sort of CH instead of Havertz and Giroud up top instead of, Mace or Werner. But yeah, it's a big game on Saturday. And now I think
it's huge.
Yeah, now I think finally, just to sort of wrap up, we're going to discuss our sort of a True Blue of the Month. I know we discussed this earlier, Kieran. I think I might make a change just after our discussion there on who I want to actually nominate. So we mentioned earlier we're going to go for Kante and Havertz, but I'm thinking of Kante and Tony Rudiger. You mentioned his performance against Atletico, which was just beast. And since he came in the team, we've just been solid, mate. As well as Christensen has just been solid. So I think we're going to have to put him forward instead of Havertz. I don't know if you have anything to add on that.
Yeah, I'd say it's fair enough. Other than the alleged shithouse moment he had our own training ground on Sunday after the game. Yeah, that's the only thing that for me that's like standing against him is like I see it and I remember tagging you in it and I just see it and goes, oh Christ, here he goes again. He's falling out with the manager. He's falling out with everybody again. And that was my thoughts. Like waking up the next day, obviously it being bank holiday Monday. After I saw the report, I was like, oh God, no. I goes, Wednesday, we're going to get pumped. We're going to get beat. He's going to get sent off in the first 10 minutes. He's going to start kicking his own teammates. But yeah, ignoring that, because that was outside of the month of March. So it is True Blue of the month for the month of March. That's what I was going to add to it. It is out of the month of March. So yeah, I'd say Tony bits about it. But if you wouldn't mind, I'll just kick it off with Kante. Atletico Madrid, all that really needs to be said. That second leg, that is one of the best performances in midfield that I think's ever had. That was outstanding. People talk about, and don't get me wrong, another great performance. But people always especially English football fans, Jack Wilshere against Barcelona or Paul Scholes against Barca or against Milan, whatever. That Kante performance tops both of those with ease. Both of them combined, that was outrageous. I think just in general, when he was in and out of the team, he's picked up a few knocks this year that we're not used to. But the last month, he's just been solid. He's been cleaning things up, and he's proved game in, game out that he is the best defensive midfield player in the world. And it's not close, and it won't be close for a very long time. It just it cements in my head personally for me how good he is and how much he loves our team. That he does everything for the team. Nothing's ever about him. Like today, he's picked up a hamstring injury on international duty. He misses one game and makes himself available for today. I know outside the month of March, whatever, we'll take it into the context of the last time we brought up. But I think that is a true blue. That is what it is. He knows what he brings to the game, even if it's 10 minutes, is worth it. And I that's why we're obviously bringing him forward. It will be down to a vote, of course, but that's just my words. If you want to add anything on N'Golo Kante.
He plays for the badge, doesn't he? He really does. But he just does the stuff that nobody else will do. He works his socks off. Bless him. When he came on today, I know it's not March, but just sort of the best sort of example. He just ran his socks off, running up and down. I think it gave him a bit more freedom having him and Jorginho and Kovacic in there. But against Leeds, he was superb. Against Atletico Madrid, he was superb. He was just superb for the whole month. I think he's been our best player since Tommy T came in. I know it wasn't March, but he was superb against Southampton. And he just kept on playing that way. But because it's Kante, you don't really have these brilliant stats like, he scored such and such, he's done this. So he just goes under the radar a bit. And like I said with Tony Rudiger, I think, until West Brom, we'd only conceded 2 goals with him and Christensen in the team, and one of which was Tony's own goal against Sheffield United. So it just shows the impact he's had in the team. And I think when he's played this year, I think we kept a clean sheet in 75% of those games. could be wrong on that, so I do apologise if I am, but it's something mad like that, really. So I think he probably does deserve a recognition. Christensen probably, could have made it, but seeing he won it last month, I think, and seeing that the whole team's played so well, I think it's a good opportunity to give it to some different players.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Yeah, just add to Rudiger. I think another one, that performance against Atletico Madrid, I think that really is, that will be a historical, that will be a Chelsea win and a Chelsea performance from specific players of all ages. That will be Ramirez against Barca. That will be Drogba in the final, not to the Drogba in the final extent. I don't think ever a Chelsea player will ever have as much of an important game ever. But just like that performance from Rudiger, shutting down Atletico Madrid, who was still on a high at that point. Obviously now they're dropping off a little bit, and the points gap at the top of La Liga has really thinned out. But I think personally, the performances Rudiger and Kante gave in that game were just outrageous how good they were. Rudiger I've never seen him be all over a world-class striker like that. He is prone to getting spun quite a lot. As evidenced last year, like Robert Lewandowski did bits on him when we played Bayern Munich. Did absolute bits on him last year. And Suarez he's got that turn in him. He's got that, he can score at any time. He can create a goal out of nothing. And it was just brilliant. And I thought just throughout the month, he gained a brilliant partnership with Christensen, obviously with him either being down the middle or on the left, and Azpilicueta being on the other side, doing his own thing. But Dave is Dave. For me, he could win True Blue of the Month every month for as long as he lives. He's Chelsea FC right now. That's who we are. We are whatever we the wind blows whichever way Dave wants it. But Rudiger was superb, and obviously until moment of the weekend, he really looked like he cared about the club. He really looked like he was Chelsea through and through, and just brilliant. So whichever one wins
it probably what happened on the weekend was actually probably him showing his passion in training, him going for a big tackle on Kepa not liking it, which is understandable if it's a big late tackle, but it just shows that he's putting that intensity, working hard into training. Obviously, we don't know the full details, but that's what I'm putting it down to. And it just got heated because they're both passionate, about the club, which is just fantastic to see. So yeah, guys, if you want to have your say on who wins True Blue of the Month, head over to our Instagram. I'll try and pop the photo in about now. Links will be in the sort of description below anyway. But Kieran, anything to add before we wrap up?
No, just up the fucking CHELS semi-finals here. We can see you there, Real Madrid.
Up the CHELS. I really hope he hasn't jinxed it now. But we'll find out on Tuesday.
Touch wood.
Touch wood. Anyway, guys, we'll see you hopefully Saturday evening. I think we're playing against Crystal Palace, so hopefully you'll join us after that.
Perfect.
Up the CHELS.
Out the CHELS.